Yeah. Hi everyone. Welcome to Diving into Open Source with GSoC. We have Kajol Dee with us today. She's a past student of Heritage Institute of Technology and she's working for Expedia Group as an SDE too. When I was in my first year, she founded HITK Tech Community, and most of what I have achieved is because of the opportunities that I found in that community. And she has participated in GSoC 20 under OpenCV and then mentored for the same in the subsequent year. So she has seen both sides, and there is no one better to guide you than her. So thank you, Dee, for joining us.
Hey, hi. So, yeah, thank you for inviting me. And I think I will try my best to help you with all your doubts and sharing my experience most of all. So, yeah.
Thank you. And for any questions you have, please add it in the chat and we'll take it up at the end. So, for beginners who don't know what open source is, could you share how did you actually stumble upon open source and what it means to you?
Mm, when you say open source, it's like the source code that is open to you. That means think of it like the whole source code for a particular project is open and you are free to contribute, read about it, explore about it, fix the bugs and everything. So everything is open and even the code base, even the whole project. And it's like if you talk about starting on how to start, then I would say, first of all, pick any issue, like, or even if you don't have issue, just create one. I still remember my first issue was not able to set up my development environment. So that was the first contribution to open source, that I raised a issue on a particular project, and that was for LibreForce. So that is also a contribution. Actually, you are actually raising an issue. So, but yes, to officially actually start via the code base, you will have to know the Git first of all. That is the version control system or any other version control system you need. And then start with setting up its local environment, like the development environment. Let's select any project first of all, set its local environment, then try with a little or minimalistic bug. Like think of it like the very, even readme correction can be a contribution, or even typo fix, or a simple bug that you found on the application. It can be anything. So the best way to start is to actually start, like just start, search on the GitHub, pick any project, and then just dive through the README, and then start wherever you feel, by issue, by code, or by README contribution. Anything is fine.
So thank you. And so so what is was Google Summer of Code your first open source contribution, or like did you start open source thinking that you'll get into Google Summer of Code, or was there another process that you went through? Like, what was in your mind when you first started contributing? Heidi, I think people can't hear what you're saying. Um, would you like to like leave and again join? Yeah, she'll be back in a few moments. So we'll give her time to come back. Can you all just say from where you couldn't hear her? Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you, I think. Can you just
Okay.
write it in the chat if you can hear her? Yeah.
Okay. So, which part we didn't
Yeah,
hear?
which part? Which part could you all not hear? Can you all just say? So maybe we'll just start from the second question. I think, uh, like, like, what was in your mind when you first started with open source? Okay, maybe we can start with that.
So, my main motive was to get guidance from people. So, so we are tier 3 colleges, right? So if you know, Heritage is also one of the tier 3 colleges, and there I really struggled a lot to get guidance from. And when you talk about GSoC, you get mentors from a variety of background. So it can be some software developer, it can be some professors, it can be anybody, right, who have a lot of experience and a lot more knowledge than you. So my main motive was I was kind of directionless, and during the start of my third year I got to know about this. So I was like, anyhow I want to get into it so that I can get guidance and I can shape my career. Because right now when you are directionless, you do a lot of things and you might go in some other direction which has nothing to do with what you want to do. So that was my main target, to get actually the guidance, because that I was lacking during that time. And I just blindly decided that I want to go to GSoC, and I literally didn't know anything during that time. I didn't know what is Git. I didn't know what is actually open source, how to contribute, anything I didn't know. So what I did was I broke down into small, small parts. First of all, I went through a lot of videos on how to start with, a lot of blogs as well. And then I took part in beginner friendly open source programs. Like if you know Girl Script Summer of Code, that was my very first program that I went into. And that was kind of track changing, because there I learned how to use Git, how to actually contribute to open source project. And there was a mentor who actually guided me on how to solve problems or issues, basically how to raise a PR and how to get it merged, how to address review comments. So everything about how you contribute to open source project I got to learn from that beginner friendly open source program. And I parallelly used that to actually contribute into the shorted organizations. So I had shorted three of the organizations which was suiting as per my knowledge. I used to work during that time in Angular. So I shorted on the basis of Angular because I only knew Angular that time. So I whatever I used to learn from here, I used to implement it and contribute it. So it was kind of parallel effort, and within those 3 4 months, I managed to take part in this program as well as contribute to the GSoC projects. So I think that is how I started and went on.
So you spoke about shortlisting the right organization and how
Mhm.
you shortlisted it on the basis of Angular. So for now, what do you think should be your like tips to actually shortlist the organization? Because organizations sometimes don't come to GSOC that
Hmm.
year. Maybe. What are the
Right.
tips, tricks that?
So what I used was I literally filtered all the organizations that got selected in last 5 years, and out of that I further filtered out the organizations which was matching my tech stack. So it should not be like you should know everything. So if the tech stack is mentioned A, B, C, D, E, okay, and I mean these are the texts, and you only know A, B, C, that is fine. Only if you know A, B, it is fine. That means only if you know 20% of the tech stack that is mentioned, rest all you can learn while contributing. So even if one or two is matching or looks familiar, just short it. And later on, I further filtered it on the basis of how big the project is, how many people are already contributing it. Because if the experienced people are already contributing and you are a beginner, you come here, obviously there is like very less chance to get selected, right? So first of all, filter it on the basis of how many recursive year it got selected to. Second thing, filter it on the basis of tech stack that looks familiar or you are eager to learn. And then third thing, what I used was, if there is no such contributor, a lot of contributors or pros actually contributing already, then obviously there is a chance you can try in. So on the basis of these three factors, I shorted three organizations during that time.
So as a beginner, when you come across, say you have selected an organization and you want to enter and start off, and the code base is large. So, how do you suggest we go about it?
So each open source project is actually, most of them is actually having very large code bases. So I would suggest don't try to understand the whole code base in one go. Even right now, the project I contributed to, I don't know 100% of it even now. Because see, what you understand, you need to understand only that part that you have to contribute to. Let's say my project was actually involved with AI, ML, full stack, DevOps, but my concentration was just on full stack and DevOps because those two were familiar to me. AI and ML was not my cup of tea. So I didn't concentrate much on that part. But just to start with, let's say you just picked one code base, then just try to understand from its README. Okay, README, generally the open source projects have a very good README. If you go through it, then it will tell you what this project is about, what all tech stacks it uses, and how to set up its local environment. So once you set up that local environment, just play around with it, like clicking some buttons, what it is doing, what is the purpose of this, and so on. So once you do that, then it starts making sense that okay, this is what the project is about. Then go to the issues section, try to find out the beginner friendly issue. Like generally, the organizations tag them with the name label of beginner friendly. So try to pick those beginner friendly issue. Maybe if you see some correction is required from README, because the same thing happened with me. I set up the local environment and I was playing around with the project. Then I saw there was a count that used to be shown in my project, that how many AI projects have been hosted on that particular website. So when I used to refresh that, that count used to give different values. So there was a bug, right? So I reported that bug and I solved that bug as well. So by playing around as well, you can find a simple bug which initially looks like maybe there is a mistake from my end, but actually that was a bug. So I would say start off from the README and setting up the environment, and then you will, as you proceed step by step, you will get used to the code and pick the issues which is very beginner friendly. Don't try to target very hi-fi issue or very big issues in the beginning, because you will feel very low and you are eventually going to stop. So start with very small thing and then eventually proceed, I would say. And don't even feel shy to reach out the communities. The best part is because during my time, there was Google coding challenge. Right now it's been deprecated, but earlier it used to have. So class 12 student used to contribute as well. So it was basically for school students. So I didn't hesitate to seek help from them, like what this part of code is doing, I don't understand. What this issue is telling, I don't understand. Literally I used to put messages into the channel to ask my questions. But yes, your questions should make sense. You should not be like very vague, I am not able to set up the local environment, they're not going to answer it. What is the exact error, mention that. And what all things you already tried, mention that as well. So that even if mentors are looking, they will know, okay, this person has tried all this thing and now he or she is struggling. So you will be helped in a better way. Like they will not just ignore, they will try to help you out. So show effort and don't hesitate to ask for the help from the community that that particular project have. So yeah, start with the small and continue.
Okay. And so once we have gone through these steps, Now, before GSoC, we need to prepare a proposal and we need to send it. So, how do you suggest making that stand out?
Hmm. So proposal is actually the game changer. Because first part is the contribution, and if you talk about 50-50, 50% is contribution and 50% is the proposal. I would say 60% is the proposal. So your proposal should actually tell the reader that you actually understand the project. That means you have already gone through the project structure, what this is about, because every organization, they will give you a project idea. That idea is basically what they want to achieve during this GSoC period. So you need to be very detailed on how you are going to achieve that, and don't overcommit things, I would say. Just try to make it achievable, and try to add as many code snippet as possible. That means you have already tried these things and you already know how to do that. So add snippets, be detailed, as much detailed as possible. Some organizations have their format as well. They will ask you if you have any previous experience on the tech stack they need. So if yes, just add the projects as well. But with respect to the project idea, try to keep it as much detailed as possible. And the most important part is try to get it reviewed. Because see, if you get it reviewed from at least 2 to 3 mentors from the community, then you are very much confident it already went through 2 revisions and they feel like this is good, so obviously you are going to stand out, right? So interaction with the mentors or community members, and once you make the very detailed proposal, call it a draft proposal, we call it in GSoC website. So just share it with the as many mentors as possible. And if even if you get review from 2 of them, you will get, obviously you are going to stand out because 2 people reviewed it and it is looking good. That means you have put the enough effort and it is going to be most probably selected. So yeah, just try to make it detailed and get it reviewed. I think these 2 points will make you go away from that. Yeah.
Uh, so after say the person is selected, so to motivate the others, can you tell us how, like, what GSoC is? What do you do during that span of uh,
Mhm. So basically, what I did was, there is a project idea that every org uh, propose on the GSoC official website. You basically work on that project idea for the whole duration. So that idea consists of a list of tasks that you are supposed to complete within that duration. So in my time, it was like the time frame was a little bit longer. Now it had got reduced, but it was like there used to be a mid evaluation and a final evaluation. So we used to commit the things. So in proposal, we make a table kind of thing that in this week I will do this, in this week I will do this, and so on. So during mid evaluation, all the tasks that we did during that period, we used to present it. So present to the org admins. So there are mentors, and on the top of that as well, there is org admins from where you used to get feedback on what else can be improved, what is not going well, what is going well, along with the constant support from mentors. Like during the contribution period, let's say I am stuck on a particular issue, I am not getting how to proceed, you already have 2 3 mentors who you can reach out to Slack or via email, and they are going to unblock you. So that whole duration is like contributing, reading a lot of stuffs, learning a lot of things, and coding obviously, and then presenting your whole work in the form of a presentation to the higher community members or community admins. And I think we used to have daily stand-ups as well, like literally, like if you go to enterprise level you will have stand-up. So in my work we used to have literally stand-up every day, that if I am blocked somewhere and if my mentor is not helping me, then org admins used to come and they help us out. So it was like constant support will be there, and they will try their level best to unblock you wherever you are blocked. So it's all about contribution, seeking help, getting help, and finally completing the task that you committed. That is the whole point. You must complete the task to pass the GSoC, because selecting is one thing and passing is completely another thing. You will have one midterm evaluation and a final evaluation, and you need to pass both of them in order to complete the GSoC. So you need to do all the things that you committed. So yeah, that is the whole 3 month period for GSoC.
so how has GSoC helped you in your say given you a career boost, um, or added to your resume?
Yeah, so at a personal level, it was a game changer for me because when I used to talk with those folks or my mentors, I used to feel like, where am I? Because those people are like, if some professor from some very legitimate uh, college is guiding you, if the ML engineer of Tesla is guiding you, and then there are senior software developers who are guiding you, so it's like the question that I used to ask, right? I used to feel like they will feel, okay, what kind of question is he asking? Is it a kid, like kiddish kind of question, right? I used to feel very scared, and for that I used to read a lot before reaching out to them. I literally used to scratch the whole Google. If I am not able to find, then only I will reach out to them. So because of that, I used to read a hell lot, like blogs, YouTube, everywhere. I used to read a lot, learn a lot. Second part was communication, because when I used to have daily stand-ups earlier, I used to feel very scared to interact or to basically propose your thoughts or convince your thought to the people. But within that 2 3 months, it was completely changed, because every day I used to interact with those folks for Scrum. And along with that, I presented twice to the higher admin level, right? So at a personal level, my interaction skill, the way I used to present my thoughts, that literally increased and enhanced a lot, I would say. And that helped me in my interviews as well. I used to be very chilled out. Okay, I have already know how to interact, how to answer questions. So in actual interviews, everybody generally feels nervous, but I have already interacted so much that it's fine. Come ask me, I will answer you whatever I know. So that helped me a lot to be confident while speaking and while putting your thoughts and presenting it in front of the audience, which is the main part when you explain some concept to somebody, right? So along with the technical aspect, these two things are the main that constantly guided me. And then, even after GSoC, I was in contact with those folks, and they invited me for MTech course in US as well, which was fully sponsored. So it's like, you get a lot of extra benefits as well when you get connected with a community. Then it's not just for the limited GSoC period. Even outside that, they are going to constantly help you with referrals. Like, one of the person has referred me to Google as well, so where I interviewed, although I only went till fifth round. But yes, you get referrals, you get a lot of other advantages as well. So it helps a lot, actually, really a lot, because in college it's like very small circle, and when you come out and meet with those kind of people, then you feel like, okay, there is a lot of things that I don't know about, so just learn and then explore. So I think that was the thing that changed kind of mindset. From it became very wider, I would say.
So we heard how GSoC kind of kept the ball rolling like for you. And
Hmm.
so just so that people don't think this is the end all be all. So what if we don't get selected for GSoC because the competition is high every year?
Hmm. Yeah.
So what how should we still continue with our open source journey?
So it's totally fine if you don't get selected, first of all. The thing that you gain even after not getting selected is the experience of how to contribute to open source. Because GSoC is not the only open source program. You will know about Alibaba Summer of Code, Summer of Bitcoin. If you are a Bitcoin interested person, Outreach is there, MLH fellowship is there, Linux LFX mentorship is there. So there is a lot of open source programs, not just Google one, and there are beginner friendly as well with bugs. But yeah, these are all the legitimate ones where they pays you handsome amount of money as a stipend, and these are paid open source programs. So that is not just the end. So whatever you learned during this GSoC preparation, use it and go to the other open source programs like MLH, Outreachy, or LFX mentorship, or AliSoc, or Summer of Bitcoin, or even Google Season of Doc has also come. Even if you are not a coding person, just try for the documentation. That is also fine. So it's like whatever learning you got, just use it and improve it to achieve something else. And next time, there is no limitation for applying to GSOC. You just need to be 18 plus. So try next time, you will do even better because you already know the org, and the people from the org already know you because of your previous contribution. So if this time you are going to apply, your chances will be higher than the previous one. So that is going to eventually help you. And first year or second year, most probably second year, you will get selected only if you keep on contributing. So just use it, I would say. Don't feel low, because the thing you learned, you can always use it somewhere else.
So I think we could take some questions from the audience now.
Mm-hmm.
Akam has asked, as a beginner inclined in the web dev, suppose I choose a web dev org. I know HTML, CSS, and not JavaScript yet. So should I
Mm-hmm.
learn JS first or like set up my local environment? So he's asking if he should start like exploring the project or learn the language first.
I would say start exploring the project. This is what I had done because you set up the local environment, you play around with the project, and then you pick an issue. And based on the issue, you basically dig into the code base and you learn eventually. Like, let's say if it needs you to write a function, then you will read about how to write that function, and eventually you will learn. So it's always like contributing and learning, because development is a continuous learning process. You can't learn everything. So I would say start with the setting up the environment, pick up a beginner friendly issue, and start up from there. And parallel, you can always learn JavaScript. Learn and implement. That would be the best.
Um, so Priyanka is asking, now I'm 17 plus and a first year student. Can I apply to GSoC? The rules are 18 plus.
Uh, right. So there used to be Google coding for lower than 18 plus, but right now GSOC criteria is actually 18 plus. So I think you won't be able to apply this year, next year. Yeah. But if you keep on contributing this year, next year you are going to have higher chances to get in. So I would say just try, and next year you will have higher chances of getting selected. But yeah, you have other options like MLH, which doesn't have this kind of
Okay.
restrictions for the age. So, or if LFX mentorship, that is also very, very good. So you can try for those.
So Akam is asking, since like orgs are going to start submitting their projects from January 4th and maybe they're
Okay.
ending at Feb 22.
Mm-hmm.
So he's asking if he has a chance because he's starting late.
Mm, so even if you start today, I think there is a good chance, because it's most like how much time you are dedicating. I had also started in first week of January, but right now, like during that time, I was completely new noob. I didn't know Git. I didn't know anything. So setting up the environment only took me the whole 1 month. So it's totally fine even if you're starting right now. Just make sure that whatever organization you select, you stick to them. Okay. And try to contribute as much as possible. I would say select at least two organizations, and while contributing only, you will feel like, okay, this one I feel more comfortable, and you will contribute more to it. So whichever organization you are contributing more, just submit the proposal for that very, very neatly. And the other one as well, just give it a try, submit it anyway. But just try to make sure the one you are contributing a lot to, you will have the higher chances of getting selected. So even if you are right now starting, it's totally fine. Just make sure you devote the proper time and do the contribution, because contribution only matter no matter when you start. If you're contributing enough, you are in.
Um, People are asking for a roadmap to open source. So,
Okay. Um, Okay, so how I had done, I can just tell you that maybe that can help you. That start off with the beginner-friendly open source programs. Like there are a lot of beginner-friendly open source program, like Script Winter of Code, DevScript Winter of Code, GirlScript Summer of Code, and there are a lot. SOC, DWOC, JWOC, there are a lot. So just pick any one of them and use that to understand how you use Git, how you make a PR, how to address the review comments, like basically how you contribute. Learn everything about the open source contribution there, and then you select the projects in, I mean, select the orgs and start contributing to it. So the best way will be to, I followed that way only, that I joined a beginner friendly one, learned everything about how to contribute, and then I basically parallelly contributed to the orgs. So I think that you can treat as the roadmap. This is not exact rule, as in whichever way you feel comfortable you can go ahead, but if you're a complete beginner, start off with the beginner friendly projects, I would say. And this beginner friendly uh, programs will help you get that. So you can start off from there.
So just start, everyone, and it will flow from there.
Right. You will have to just start. That is going to take a lot of effort. I still remember. And don't hesitate to ask question. I still remember LibreForce, LibreOffice, sorry. LibreOffice was the first org I had selected. And I was trying to set up its local environment. And I was literally struggling. And I spent around 1 week and still I was struggling. But I didn't reach out to the community. Then finally, after one more week, I thought that now it is the time, because right now it's already end of the January. So if I don't start right now, I'm going to fail. So I raised an issue. That was my first open source contribution with LibreOffice, that not able to set up the local environment. And I provided all the details, that this is the error I'm getting. These all things I have tried and this is not working. So please help me out. And I posted the same thing in the channel as well. So they helped me. So the sooner you start, the sooner you will reach out to the folks, the sooner you will get help, and sooner you will proceed further. So just don't hesitate to reach out, because in open source it's all about the community help. The more help you get, the faster you will go.
So, in general, what would your advice be for us to get into tech, to work in tech? Because what you're doing is what most of us are thinking. Like, you are one of the most
Mhm.
inspiring people I've met in my first year. And because of you, I joined hackathons, and I should give you credit for that. So, so what do you, a general advice for all of us?
Explore, I would say. Because the more areas you are going to explore, the better you are going to understand which is the best suited for you. I literally, if you talk in terms of a college student, you will have a lot of time. Right now, I understand there is a lot of assignments that you need to fill in, but apart from that, you get a lot of time. So take part in hackathons, because in hackathons you meet people from other colleges as well. You hear the other mindset as well. Be proactive on LinkedIn. That is the best tool that I got in my college days, from where I used to know about these opportunities, because in my first and second year I literally missed a lot of opportunities. Third thing is, let's say if somebody is saying that okay, ML is good, then don't just blindly go and decide okay, this will be my career. No, don't do that. First of all, try to understand what all are the career fields. You can be a front end developer, you can be a back end developer, you can be a DevOps engineer, you can be a deep learning enthusiast, you can be an ML engineer, you can be an AI engineer. So why just go for blindly in one direction? ML engineer, okay, this looks fascinating, so I will also go. No, what just read a little bit about all of those fields, and if that sounds exciting to you, just think, can you spend your whole life working on those things? If yes, go for it. Nobody is going to stop you. So just decide the tech stack on your interest, not because somebody else is doing. That is the major part. Because if you decide it on the following somebody else, that is not going to help you. What is your interest? Android, web, ML, AI, whatever is your interest, stick to that and read about it. Next thing is, try to grab internship as soon as possible, because once, and I won't say just to stop after one, because the more internships you do, it's like, if you get into a better place, then you get to work with actual software developers, I mean senior software developers, I would say. And the way they explain their thought process, the way they contribute, the way they review your code, so those things helps a lot to read and learn and improve. So grab as much internships as possible, do it as earliest as possible, And don't try to miss out the opportunities like Microsoft Engage program, especially for the first year and second year students. Adobe does that, Google does that, Microsoft does that, GSoC does that. So those are especially for the first and second year students. So try to grab those, take part in those, and if you can succeed later, that will be a game changer for you, because you will get interact to the folks who are actually working there, and that mentorships helps a lot. So try to find a good mentor, I would say. That will be another best thing. And keep on exploring, maybe open source and DSA. Yes, if you're interested in DSA, obviously keep on doing DSA, because that is going to come into picture eventually when you sit for the interview for the good companies. So yeah, keep on practicing that as well. I would say that should be enough.
Um, uh, People, so Akam has a question again. Beginner friendly orgs have a lot of competition. How to stand out in mentors' eyes?
Hmm. So I would say follow these things. First of all, do your contribution, help out other people who are contributing. Let's say they are stuck somewhere and you already know the answer, so help them. Because in open source community, if you are helping somebody, you are already standing out of the crowd. So try to help them. And whenever you ask the question, then try to make it very detailed. Like, this is the problem. I already tried this thing, and then it is not working. So this will show your effort that, okay, this person is already shown their effort and still they are struggling. I'm always stressing on show your effort, because if you just say I am blocked this here, nobody's going to come. But if you say I'm blocked here and I have tried this, and still blocked, then somebody else is definitely going to come back to you. So I would say just keep contributing, help others, and ask genuine questions. That is going to eventually make you stand out from the crowd.
Um, so I think we can wrap up. Any parting words?
Uh, I would say in college life, don't just stress a lot. There is a lot to do, yes, but don't hesitate to reach out to folks, explore a lot, take part in as many programs as you can. Maybe hackathon, maybe open source program, maybe DSA competitions, whatever you feel relevant, just give it a try. And then while deciding your particular field, I would say take it very cautiously and just enjoy your college life and make sure you explore each part.
So the last link that I have shared in the chat is for the HITK Tech community. But do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so yes, that is a community that is very close to my heart, and I am still trying to form it because in my college days, I really struggled a lot. And I felt very sad when in my third year, I got to know that there are programs by Google, Adobe, and Microsoft that hires intern from first and second year. I was quite late for that. So those opportunities I have missed, and I just didn't want to do happen it for other students. So for that, I have started a Telegram channel where I try to share all those opportunities. Their students also share, and only the relevant ones. And if it looks fine, you share it, and so that other people can also know about it and they can also try. So the major missing was that only for me. I was not aware of a lot of opportunities, and that I'm trying to remove there. So yeah, maybe you can also join in and you will surely going to know about the opportunities there that you might miss in general.
Thank you so much, Dee, for joining us today. You have shared insights into GSoC, into what we should do generally in our career. Thank you so much for sharing your
Thank you very
time.
much.
Yeah,
Thank you for inviting me. It was very nice talking to you.
it was wonderful talking to you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Bye.